I want to talk to you today about making the most out of challenging times. Now, any transitional season is challenging, but when someone else's decision is what put us in transition, that is extremely challenging. And that is exactly what we're dealing with right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. Someone else has made decisions that we now must abide by, whether that be your city, your county, your state, or the federal government. We are all in this thing because of someone else's decision. That presents us with unique sets of challenges. Now, I want to give you just a few thoughts today that can help you make the most of this challenging time. Now, I did not say that I would give you some tips that will make the challenging time go away or that will transform the challenging time into a wonderful time. Nope. What I'm talking about is simply some steps, some things you can do to make the most out of this challenging season. All right. So here we go. Here is the first one. Never waste pain. Yeah. One of the main things that is going to happen when transition is someone else's decision and not your own, there are going to be pain points that we encounter. And we certainly have. We've encountered economic pain points, relational pain points, organizational pain points, all kinds of pain that has been associated that we are now having to navigate. Now, the reason I say never waste pain is that pain always points to something that needs our attention. I have learned not to ignore pain, or I will simply create more pain. Pain is giving us a signal that there's something that isn't right, and we need to pay attention to it. So, one of the ways we can make the most out of a challenging season in time is address the pain points that have been exposed. Let's deal with them. In other words, choose to get well. Let's deal with that. Maybe it's an emotional thing that we're dealing with, mental things that we're dealing with. Let's address them, not ignore them, and let's not allow them to fester and become infected and become an even bigger problem. So, one of the ways we can make the most out of a challenging season is deal with the pain points. And trust me, there are pain points. So the first thing I would share with you today, never waste pain. It's there, it's telling you things, it's pointing to something. Don't ignore it, address it, deal with it. Let's get well. Let's tend to the things that have been exposed. Here's the second thing that I would tell you. Choose your focus wisely. Yep. There's an old saying that where the head goes, the body follows. And when we talk about focus, we're talking about what our mind can get fixated on. Now, you need to remember that there is loss and gain in all transitional seasons. And that is certainly true when transition wasn't even our decision. There are going to be things that we lose, but there are also things that we gain. Which one we choose to fixate on is going to shape our experience and our outcome. So we want to choose our focus wisely. It's important that we understand that if we fixate only on what we have lost, then that is what will shape our experience. That's what's going to impact us throughout this entire challenging season. But if we can choose to focus on what is potential, what we might gain, what we have to look forward to, so forth. Attitude and perspective are heavy hitters in times of transition, and they shape our experience and our outcomes. So we have a choice to make. We can either manage them or be managed by them. So when we talk about our focus, it's what do we allow ourselves to fixate on? What do we allow ourselves to think upon regularly? What has our attention? I've said in other videos, pay attention to what has your attention. It's important. One of the ways that you can make the most out of a challenging time is by choosing your focus wisely. Focus on things that you have control over. For example, if you allow yourself to fixate on things over which you have no control, that's just going to be frustrating. But if you will focus on the things you do have control over, such as attitude and perspective, then you can actually benefit. You can change how you're being shaped and molded during this challenging season. So choose what you focus on wisely. A friend of mine, Tim Ingram, who is a leader in East Texas, recently said this, and it resonated with me. When you can't change your circumstances, you can still choose to change your perspective. I believe that, and I think that that is a key in challenging seasons. We have control over that thing. Now, there are definitely things we don't have control over, but attitude and perspective are not among those. We can choose our attitude and our perspective, and they are heavy hitters and influencers in times of transition. So, how do we make the most of a challenging time? Number one, never waste pain. Number two, choose your focus wisely. Here's a third one: learn its lessons. Yes, learn the lessons. There are lessons here to be learned. There are things that we can benefit from. We can learn, we can grow, we can improve, we can get better. That's what we want to do. We want to learn the lessons. And you know what? Sometimes it's helpful. Sit down with a sheet of paper or with your digital device or a journal and just begin to take some inventory. Make a list. What lessons are there here? What am I learning about myself? What am I learning about my relationships? What am I learning about my family? What am I learning about my job? If you're a leader of a business organization, company, or team, what are you learning about your team? What are you learning about yourself as a leader? What is there to learn about your client, your market, your customers? There's a lot here that could be very, very beneficial. Learn its lessons. I've often said that a lesson offered is not the same as a lesson learned. And it's a shame to waste an opportunity in a challenging season by not learning those lessons. And what I've discovered is that lessons that I do not learn this go round, I'm usually re-enrolled for those classes in another season. So it's to my advantage. Let's learn the lessons now. Let's benefit where we can. Let's grow. Let's get better. Let's improve. And that's one of the ways that we can make the most of challenging times. Never waste pain. Choose your focus wisely and learn its lessons. See, the reason I'm telling you all of these things is because I believe we can benefit from every season, even challenging transitional seasons, even transitions that someone else's decision put us in. We can still benefit from it. It all has to do with attitude and perspective, whether we're willing to learn the lessons, what we choose to focus on, and that we deal with and address the pain points that transition brings up. Now, let me give you one bonus thought that I have found extremely helpful in making the most of challenging times. And that is this: practice gratefulness daily. Yeah, practice gratefulness daily. Remind yourself of the things that you have to be grateful for and express that gratitude. You know, that's the thing about gratefulness. You don't realize its full effect, and its full potency isn't released unless it is expressed. And while we do experience gratefulness primarily as an emotion, it can be triggered by a choice. And that's what I'm talking about. Make a decision each and every day to remind yourself what you have to be grateful for and find ways of expressing that gratefulness. That will make a huge difference. And by the way, gratefulness is a big time game changer in the areas of attitude and perspective. That's why I wanted you to hear it. It's important that we do it. We have the power to choose how we respond in seasons of difficulty and challenge. And I hope that you will exercise that power of choice to do several things. Here they are one more time. Never waste pain. Choose your focus wisely. Learn its lessons. Believe that you can actually benefit in challenging seasons. And the bonus, practice gratefulness daily. I believe those are things that can help you make the most of a challenging time. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again soon.